Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast from your host Imperial Dame, the one and only Master Propaganda Hero of Light Defender of the Fatherland. Off it 1v1 on Semois. Been a while since we've been here. Real shame too. In the north it is Oziligath fighting here for the German army. Deutschland here with the 90th Panzergrenadier Division, and we got Armoured Support with a double bike opening, looking to take advantage of the vast open space on this map here. Vast, but, open spaces at larger distances at least. South side it is little Freya fighting here for America, freedom and democracy. Here with the US 1st Armored Division, we got Armoured there, immediately picking up the Veterans 1 ability there for his vehicles. Oh, cancelled the second bike, Panzer goes all the way there. Triple Scots for little Freya. And we're off as always. Big hearty thanks to my patron supporters for the continued generous and wonderful support of the Propagandacast. Really helps make all these videos possible. And a big thanks to those who keep commenting and liking. Helps out immensely with the YouTube algorithms, which get the video out further. So, we're off here. Bikes racing forwards. More Panzer Pioneer there for Oziligath. 30 cals there out for little Freya. Also map that definitely with the Senate can definitely benefit from it. Plus with the buildings here, that said, they aren't all necessarily universally that powerful either if you actually know how to play on the map, which admittedly I don't think a lot of players do. So we'll have to see how this works out. Got the flare gun now upgraded and open up for flares and smoke grenades. I think these guns could fire too, at least. I know the Germans use their flare guns for that. But you know, because they basically use the same system for their tank defense systems, the Verteidigungswaffe, which is just basically a roof mount in a sense flare gun that could fire flares, smoke, and well, fragmentation grenades too. So, Scouts here, the bike pushing forwards here. The Panzer Grenadiers backed up the Panzer Pioneer. So already a few engagements breaking up between Oziligath and Freya. Scouts withdrawing here under heavy German fire, immediately losing Lewis there from Montana. South side here, back drawing off from the Scouts, going for the victory point instead. Bazooka teams out for Freya, obviously against the DAK, expecting obviously the bike, but also 250 half-track. And some kind of early counter to that is going to be a very good investment. In particular, if they go for, say, the flame for half-track combo. We have definitely seen matches where that can be almost powerful, so having some kind of way of, like, stopping that, or at least slowing it down, is very important versus the DAK. Infantry support center out there for little Freya. Panzer Pioneering Vorwärts. Light support company for Oziligath. But so far, I'm noting here, Oziligath is not committing travels to the center. He's staying on the side of the map. Definitely one of the things I always find Oziligath does fairly well. Tends to be fairly smart at avoiding just getting stuck in and actually playing to the sides of the map. Whereas I find the average player on the other hand has a better tendency of doing the reverse. So thumbs up there. The reasons I do find Oziligath is always a fun player to watch. He actually, you know, has a more dynamic, I think, playstyle on the map. So Bazooka can catch the half-track, immediately ambushing it. 2 rockets striking in there, forcing a fair amount of damage. Half-track is engaging heavily damage. We did have the flamethrower upgrade here, so yeah, really good here. That said, even as this is happening, Oziligath is making progress with his bike, hitting the fuel point right side of his opponent base. A devious yet effective gameplay move. Up north, Scouts actually coming the Panzer Pioneers. A surprise, but little Freya, not without his or her skills, goes for that northern fuel point. Meanwhile, 250 having repaired. You've got a half-track on the way for little Freya as well. We've got old M3. And we've got Assault Grenadiers on the way there for Oziligath. The Sturm Grenadier bike moving in there, trying to dodge the Bazooka team. Only 1 rocket hits. Actual bike being hit, but that obviously would have gone kablamo, but probably wouldn't be too much fun in the game, so obviously doesn't do that. Yeah, both sides managed to hit each other's fuel points. That's, well, a bit fun. Half-track almost done there, though, for little Freya, the M3 there. There we go. Half-track ready. We'll, of course, if there's any troops inside it. 30 cal then being pushed out. While the flame for half-track moving forward, slight looking at an upgrade here for little Freya's M3. Once the munitions would arrive, until then, of course, we've got the 50 cal. I believe the 30 cal water cool bar was a fairly commonly used machine gun on various half-tracks as well, in fact, the various light vehicles. So Little fun fact there. And there we go. Almost got the 250 here. Flamethrower Panzer Panties. Obviously, not doing too much to stop this Endgame. In the actual war, though, firing a flamethrower into the top of this definitely would have done the trick. Make no mistake, but again, Endgame, the game is like, you know, not quite, I think, sophisticated enough to like really replicate that in a sensible manner. But yeah, another half-track here though for little Freya. South side T-Scouts moving about.
Panzer Infantry have orders to salvage all they can from vehicles. Leave nothing to the enemy.
Salvaging the 250 half-track there. Thumbs up to Oziligath. Quickly making at least something back on that. We also got a pit being set up here. Likely a mortar pit, but could also be a machine gun nest here out of little Freya. So obviously deploying grenades here under the anticipatory path. Then gets the wipe. Well done there for Oziligath. Thumbs up that good old bunch of Stielhandgranate.
Panzerjäger anti-vehicle infantry available.
Second half take almost done, another 30 cal here. Looks like no rifle need to drive around the half. Obviously, easy thing to just rely on them upgraded rather than any sort of mechanized infantry tactics, sadly. Scouts poking about there. Mechanized company on the way there, and we got fighting position there. Another one? Really? Yeah, we got another one there out of Freya. Note, of course, either yet to, first one's yet to be upgraded, none of the half-tracks yet to be upgraded, so I do wonder what the game plan here is out of little Freya. Okay, there you go. First one of the half-tracks being upgraded. Meanwhile, Oziligath continues to play it around the map here. Bike racing forwards. Got some Panzerjägers there standing about with their Panzerbüchse. And again, it's quite interesting to note the way they just different playstyle. I mean, Freya is very one of those center-focused players again, and Oziligath clearly much more like, you know, sides player. At least, you know, more of a water-style player, if you will. So, always fun to have that kind of distinction there. Got support arm elements here for Oziligath. He's again just playing around, hitting the points outside. Here's again, we will have to see there. Little Freya having to deal with that. And we got the grenade launcher on the way here for Oziligath. Panzerpioniere. The Granatbüchse. Stuff here being fixed up. Looks like they are, well, obviously still needs more munitions. This is also one of those key elements there whereby focusing on the sergeant, that where a lot of the munitions are. Oziligath is effectively harming little Freya's, like, you know, half-track strategy, preventing it, like, little Freya from quickly getting both of them upgraded, and for that matter, making use of these fighting positions. So, certainly highlights a bit, you know, that little Freya definitely needs to, like, you know, become a bit more aware of the rest of the map, either as a Oziligath, if, you know, they really want that strategy, like, take off. Torpedoes lining up here, and we got the Stuke 3D for Oziligath, and das Fahrzeug punching popping in here, taking a lot of damage. Smoke bed deployed as well here, running up for something perhaps. Yeah, a lot of damage in the M16 here, pretty risky honestly for little Freya to do this, but also kind of risky for Oziligath, down to one man. Ah, yeah, bet didn't pay off there for Oziligath. Definitely risky, but I can definitely see why under those circumstances he probably wanted to, like, you know, make the bet and at least knock out one half-track. Close call, but ultimately, you know, far from enough. Stuke D ready, and there goes up front the half-track. M16 moving in there, 50 cal lip ripping through here. Got them popping out, it's going to lose another 250. Oziligath and the 90th definitely taking some heavy losses here from the Americans. Rushing forward with the assault grenadiers closing in. Other troops falling up here, being hammered here by heavy fire. And a grenade assault on that 30 cal. Good work there by Oziligath. 30 cal taking massive amounts of damage. But then, of course, the assault was also exposed to the half tanks and the countless 50 caliber machine guns. Bazooka team there left to fight a pretty bad match as well there. Ambulance for Oziligath, Stuke D pouring through, crashing through walls in the cemeteries. Half-tank withdrawing. What will little Freya do next? Got manpower there floating back. It's like another Bazooka team. Going for several of them. Something here again. Thumbs up to Oziligath. Smoke the plot as well. Very good play there. So yeah, the fighting position just didn't really end up doing too much, even though Freya again due to just the massive munition shortage.
Territory sector out of contact.
So definitely felt like little Freya, I think, was playing too much off the schematic and thus not adapting well to what's going on there. I mean, whatever they're playing, they're like, maybe that got an upgrade that could have been really cool, but again, due to the more defensive playstyle in a way, and the fact that Oziligath easily saw through it and was able to, like, minimize the effectiveness of it, all of these elements just really did not pan out for little Freya. So that's like, got one of those things always worth keeping in mind there, like the back strategy, if possible. Like, I'm not saying you can't, do stuff like this, but if you are, you really just need munitions. That means you do have to, like, adapt to, like, actually holding more parts of the map to some extent, which just, again, did not happen.
Survival packages for pumps. Territory isolated.
So, upgraded bazooka rocks, they've got a total of 3 of them out, and it's not uncommon to see some players like just go heavy in the bazooka teams with the upgrades, because once they're static and once they get more veterancy, they can kind of like just move in a blob and just start wrecking light vehicles and tanks fairly easily. Sneaking up the east side here. Finding a bit more maneuvering on the sides here from little Freya against Oziligath, and of course now she's the center in the name of Deutschland.
Squad leaders have been dispersed among the men.
And we got the veteran squad leaders, thumbs up. Good upgrade, even like you really don't have a lot of Panzer Grenadiers will benefit the most. The other units still benefit from the upgrade as well. They've gained more experience and they become a bit harder to hit. So it's generally a good upgrade, like no matter what, if you just have enough infantry. Obviously, again, Panzer Grenadiers benefit the most, but that doesn't mean the others don't benefit at all. So, scouts are being pushed up with the Stug and the Panzer Unit. Going in hard for the Swaziland.
Point is being taken from us.
Grab Northern Points. He's got both those bazooka teams there, meaning they're not necessarily getting around the center where they might do some good. Odd choice, I think, to some extent. But oh well. Got a Panzer squad called in here by Oziligath. Thumbs up. Scott's being hunted down here. 30 cals in trouble. Getting a bit messy here between Oziligath and little Freya. Panzer being meeting with the heavy machine gun fire. And the M16 is about to meet its matches, drive straight into the Stug D. Guess they just only saw the bike and they didn't really think it through anymore. We only got a 250 away, the buttoning activated. And we got the second M16 here. So now both have been upgraded. Thumbs up to that at least. Got the northern points.
Points are available.
Dancing away here. And veering off from there, Oziligath shifts towards him with his Panzerjägers. Racing 14 opens with the team to a mine effect being spotted there. Good work carrying a mine switch, you might upgrade there for little Freya. Thumbs up. M16 racing for the south, leading with the damage one. Definitely would not recommend, like, if you have to send out a damaged vehicle like that, and I generally advise against it, you definitely should not lead anything with it. That is definitely the bad tactical move here. This should be leading the way rather than this. So that is definitely, I think, a tactically bad move there. Then we would not advise doing it like that. Stug in the scene, the engaging bazooka teams. Others flanking in there, could hit the Stug's rear. Yeah, there we go. Fair bit of damage to the Sturmgeschütz. Bike racing force being spotted by another bazooka team here. We got 440 to 311.
Our territory is in enemy hands.
And we got another Stug D for Oziligath. Seek and destroy there out of little Freya. Which, considering the way that little Freya's playing resources, definitely has me thinking that little Freya could be angling here for the Shermanies here. Call in rather than, the buildable ones. Getting that northern victory point, very good.
The enemy has dropped to 300 points. The fight continues.
Less than 300 points here. Little Freya does, I think, need to start picking up the match just a bit more here.
Sturmgeschütz reporting in.
Get a bit more focused versus the Germanic opponent. But there goes second Stuke 3D ready here for Oziligath. Thumbs up. More Stukes. And there goes Scouts being blasted by the Stuke in the center. And then taken out by a mine he forgot about. Perhaps never noticed, even it got revealed to him by his engineer team. Both Panther Pioneer squads upgraded with the grenade launcher or Granatbüchse. Being good use the chassis blast the Panther Punch and exposed in different fire. There's ideally though the machine's being set up in position where you get hammered from all sides though, particularly with grenade launchers. Almost costing little Freya there the 30 cal team. Got the motor pool now, so that means anti-tank guns most likely, maybe some Chaffies or Greyhounds.
Proximity alarm near our victory point.
We'll of course have to see.
It's done. Enemy forces have captured a
And there you
victory
go, you
point.
do get a Chaffee light tank out here for the little Freya, so clearly not just a full-on rad stall strategy there.
Armory upgrade underway.
Toby's going to take it with engineers, closing in with MP40s, unleashing hell, forcing collapsing fire up north. M6 in their own here, though, lacking any heavier anti-tank weapons. The Stuke does pose a problem, and it's not like he's gone for their weapons. We just ship their weapons out. First Chaffee ready.
Territory sector
Second
lost.
one on the way. 2 American light tanks. That could be a problem there for the Stukies, obviously. Unless little Freya misplays the Chaffies aggressively, which I mean is possible.
Enemy forces are
Meanwhile,
dwindling.
Oziligath for the cash in,
250
it's a munitions
points
cache, not a fuel cache. An interesting pick there. I think most players here, but on this map, to this match have gone for the fuel cache. So, an interesting decision there for Oziligath. Guessing he might be setting up for Loitus or some other munitions in terms of ability within his battle group. South side there, Assault units diving through here, exploiting again. Little Freya's tendency to, I think, focus on just one part of the map here, losing sight of the larger parts of the map, really. There you go, Chaps going for the Stuke D, first shot bounces, second shot went through here. Chaff is going at it with a 75mm guns, which are roughly equivalent to that of the Sherman, actually. So, little fun stuff there.
Coh3 burns.
Mine goes off here on the scouts, heroically sacrificing themselves for the machine gun of the anti-aircraft attacks. Clearly not too keen on diving in here due to a concern about possible anti-tank guns or martyrs, I guess, there. And there we go. Third Pack 38 ready here for Oziligath and Germany. The anti-tank gun that was obviously failure into the war kind of did get outdated as the war went on, but at the same time still saw a fair amount of usage because they just didn't have enough Pack 40s to go around. In fact, they even had to like push in the Pack 36 into combat with like a shaped charge just to like give some extra, you know, punch out of that one. As an even small entertainers known as the door knocker, devised by most troops, because that was most times going to do, unless again it had like that shaped charge, which you still had to get pretty close with to like, you know, do some damage. But yeah, it's one of those fun facts about the German army I tend to find gets a bit, you know, overlooked, which is a lot of the time it had to make do with a lot less than the fine stuff. M16 rushing northwards, Chaffee sending southwards. There you go, Pack ready. Oh, yeah, there. What? 2 misses in a row. The absolute filthy luck here of little Freya. My God, Fritz, how is it you keep missing these things? I didn't learn how to shoot this thing properly. Oh my God. Smoke here, though, courtesy of the Panther Pioneer, is actually helping out here immensely. 2 thumbs up, and it misses again. Up this time, attack round does have a better chance of missing. Finally got a shot through there. Got the M16, did a bit of damage to the tank or grenade launch as well there, but Absolute mess there.
Control of a victory point.
Absolute mess. I think the Pack 38 is very much stuffed here. Could destroy, could growl, have seen the center. Moving forward here, the Panzer Commando on the way there for Oziligath, thumbs up.
Available command points.
Got War Machine that's selected line for cheaper manpower cost than building staff. And there you go, just wrecking that Pack 38. Bazooka team cleared out, small win there for Oziligath. And we got the bike being pushed off, and Guinea's putting up a heroic push there as well. Yeah, a bit of a messy stage here. Oziligath finding parts of his front line very much ripped apart. Though he does have some assault goes there with a bazooka. Look at this, Fritz. I'm an American. I have ein bazooka. I can blow up most things, but I don't understand the metric system. Oh, you're so funny, Jürgen. Now shut up and aim the bazooka properly, or I'll slap you.
We're engaged.
Got the bazooka team moving up now up north. Panzer's on the move there. 30 cal and bazookas here. More on the way for little Freya. And it's Oziligath here. Straight from reserves. Maybe the Tiger. Maybe the Panzer IV. Maybe Stoogs. Who knows? More Panzers at Oziligath here is an interesting choice. Another bit of salvage here. I mean, Oziligath is definitely faring with that, being very thorough with that salvage, so thumbs up to that one, though we're not seeing him do much else with the battle group except salvaging at this point. I mean, we're not seeing any of the abilities, no flamethrower tanks, no command tanks, zip. So it does beg the question, is he just using it to salvage, or is there maybe some deeper plan here? I have to see.
Attention, we have Tiger heavy tanks available to us.
Lining up for a fresh push in the center, machine gun supporting bazooka team C. Stu D getting pummeled there. I mean, Oziligath, I could consider in the back down here the fuel pumps on his opponent's base again, which he was willing to do that, but good thing it's an option. Consider machine gun team, they're getting way too close to the fire here. Then getting incinerated. Roasted. Still deep blasting through the front line here. And there you go, triple Chaffies on the move. It's anti-tank weapons. Well, he's got the Panzers up here and there, and he's got bazookas on the top. Otherwise, there you go. Good shot with Stu D. Panzers on the flank here. Not enough mines here. Stu D striking off, showing the shots from all these counters. Chaffies, smoke screen deployed in a bit by time. That said, it also helps them dodge at least the Panzers. So, in some regards, this might actually make things worse here. And he actually retreats some of his units here. Trying to get back in time, but this actually now means, unfortunately for Oziligath, that the Chaffies now more or less having a safe escape route because of the units covering it. So here Oziligath kind of, in several cases, accidentally made things worse for himself. That's also, you know, something worth keeping in mind there. Sometimes you can actually end up helping your opponent, or for example dropping smoke at the wrong time, or retreating units trying to like reach a point at the wrong time as well. And I think that's basically what happened there for Oziligath. I mean, either way, I do think he lost that Stu D, but maybe, just maybe, some of those anti-tank rifle shots will be able to take out an actual Chaffee.
Vehicles must maintain the pressure, no matter the cost.
Got the loider there.
Proximity
Oziligath definitely turning to somewhat desperate measures here. And he forgot about the building, which is structurally technically collapsed. Apparently no warning for the Panzer Pines. The thing was structurally unsafe. You know how, Commandant, I don't think we should enter this building. I mean, have you seen those, like, you know, structural cracks? I don't think this is safe at all. Just shut up and get into house. Jawohl, Herr Kommandant. Withdrawing here a bit again. Triple cap as well here. Little Freya with the power of, well, now quad Chaffies and M16 has turned the match around. Yeah, it does look like Oziligath is basically pinning everything on the Tiger now, though against that many Chaffies. I mean, as long as he ensures they don't flank him, it might work, but otherwise... Oh no, Oziligath, no! White with a satchel charge. Smoke deployed. You make good use of the grenade launchers there, but you know, still painful. Another bazooka team down there. Another bazooka dropped. Which I guess makes up for the one he lost in his assault grenadiers. Just that shuttle charge. Ah, these losses for Oziligath are just painful. So painful.
Territory lost.
But he is very close to the Titan. Getting another Pak 38 in there. Another Panzer Abwehrkanone. More machine guns, more bazooka teams here for Little Freya.
Our gunners shall show the enemy the meaning of precision. Tiger
There you
1
go.
ready to turn the tide.
Tiger 1 ready here, found in 4th Schwer Panzerabteilung. One of 2 heavy tank units that fought in Italy there. There's also the 653rd Schwer Panzerjägerabteilung, or heavy tank hunter battalion, which had elephants in it. So, little fun fact there. So a bit of quiet here as Oziligath is pinning everything, I think, on that Tiger
Enemy
tank.
forces have claimed our sector.
Casualty-wise, I mean, infantry-wise got the lead, but vehicle-wise, otherwise,
300 points
not
remaining.
looking too great enough for
Say again,
Oziligath, looking
300
pretty
points remaining.
fantastic for the Americans. So there you go, Tiger ahead here. Shots just flying at it and flying off the frontal armor there. Chaffee crew just panicked. Sir, nothing is penetrating. It's just all failing. That's what she said. Shut up. Shut up. I was nervous. Anyways, bazooka team there finding the corporal there blown to bits by the Tiger tank.
Our territory is
I think he's having to flank around here, and I imagine Oziligath is trying to like bait him into that. Got the Panzer's probably trying to have a flank here, and I imagine Lloyd is going to be part of this. But if, of course, see it, gets the sense that might be happening, withdraws here. Yup, Panzer's there spotted, so obviously realizing a flank like that might just be a trap being set up in Oziligath. Unit destroyed here. I think that was just a scout team that felt their full wrath there. Deutschland. They just let to withdraw the chaff. See if we can check Titan. Great shot here. There we go. Panzerjäger's inching forward here, getting into the train here. Catching potential flank attempt here now. Tiger withdrawing. And withdrawing here. One chaffee down though. Blasted apart by anti-tank rifles here. I think they might be hoping to like just go for Polish Germany's here, but I think the harsh reality is I think they overcommitted against the chaff is against Oziligath there. That like macho plan in case of like, you know, a Tiger tank, and that's now basically what's getting turned against them. Because they had so many chaffies, but then they played very passively, which is not really what you're looking to do with that many chaffies. That's not really what they're good at. Especially I still think on this map. M69, like things are rapidly falling apart now for the Americans. They had the opportunity, but let it slip through their hands now. And the fatherland is more than happy to punish them. Grabbing a 30 cal there might cancel the MD-Fed 4, go for something else then. It's a small suggestion. Salvaging that, thumbs up. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to salvage, so thumbs up, of course. All worthy of that. So, more chaffies out of Little Freya. It would appear not, I think.
MG-34,
There's some strategies. I mean, it's theoretically not impossible, but the problem is it very much requires, to an extent that Oziligath is not aware of the damage Storm Chaps can do to his Tiger tank if he gets flanked by them. And he's quite clearly aware of that. Which you might notice by him, like, you know, making sure units with anti-tank weapons stay close to it, but also laying down mines at certain points around the Tiger tank, like you'd expect the chap to hit there. That said, Little Freya thinks going to go with option B and instead go for the base. Which isn't a bad idea there. In some regards, it's probably the better bet. They're going for it here. Ambulance quickly making an escape. Now, of course, the Americans are coming, and so every ambulance driver just puts the pedal to the metal before the Americans arrive.
Proximity
Panzer compartment gaining the Chaffee's now escaping, but not quite the best escape paths here, unfortunately. We got the TAK Tanks again, good re-hits actually by Oziligath. We also got a push towards the base here, which I'm not entirely sure about cheap, but now we got the Tigers somewhat icing against the Chaffee's. Maybe that was actually the plan here for little Freya. In which case, I mean, that's doing some damage. This was actually the entire setup. Why? Little Freya actually takes a bait out like that. That's actually kind of clever. Obviously assumes the Panzer eventually can't catch up this close to the base. But yeah. Ultimately falls apart here. Maybe should have activated Seek and Destroy, like for at least a bit more of a boost, in which case it might have had a small chance, but, you know. Almost had it there, almost had it, but in the end, yeah, like, there was definitely, I think, some good moves there, but little Freya, but the strategy, I think, you know, had some shortcomings. For once, you know, kind of plans by a Tiger, or be like, anyway, to like leverage all those Chaffees before the Tiger tank, like, you know, right, like they were just sitting about, they're doing nothing, which is not what you want to be doing with a lot of tanks, a lot of the time. I think it might have been better just taking up the resources spent on Chaffees than going for Shermans and Sherman Easy 8s. I think had they done that, I think they'd been in a much better position here versus Oziligath long term. That, and also combined with just the fact, again, at times, focused way too much to the center, forgot the rest of the map, and that was obviously, I think, one of Oziligath's major advantages. He was able to play, I think, to the rest of the map much more effectively and consistently than his opponent. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. You'll learn something from it. This is Imperial Nation. Cheers, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye, everyone.